Yeah, so it didn't take much to finish it.
Everybody ready? In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975, notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board designed for that purpose, and notice was transmitted to the official newspapers provided by resolution adopted January 6, 2024. Meeting notice has also been continually posted on the Borough website. May I have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan,
Here.
Councilwoman Phillips. I'm sorry, absent but excused. Councilman Otteson. Councilwoman Russo is absent but excused. Councilman Pagan. Councilwoman Harron. And Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please rise for the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. I'll now open it up for public comment on agenda items only. That's public comment on agenda items only. Not seeing any public comment. We'll close the public comment portion. We'll move into our caucus work session. First, we have elected officials risk management seminar training. Kel?
Yes, Mayor. So you might recall, I believe we discussed at the March 19th meeting, the need for everybody to be trained, and Solicitor Long was gracious enough to be able to arrange to conduct it as one, so that everybody didn't have to log in individually at home and spend, at least I think it's about an hour or so. Solicitor Long checked with the GIF to make sure that he was able to administer the training, and then everybody will sign a group sign-in sheet. And we've arranged for that. I did circulate an email to everyone and didn't hear anything back with regard to May 21st at 6:15. So we would it wouldn't be the meeting. The meeting will start at 7 p.m. However, you all will gather and Solicitor Long will administer the training. Okay, so just want to make sure everybody puts that on their calendars. I'll certainly send something out as a reminder, but I think we're good, right, Howard?
Yes,
Okay.
be ready to go. It's a stellar presentation, if I must say so myself. It has to do with government ethics. Some of you should pay closer attention than others. Thankfully, Regina will be back by that point in time.
She'll critique your work heavily, I'm sure.
I'm sure she will, but she's the one who needs to learn it the most. I'm getting it all in while she's not here. She'll fight back.
That's it.
No, we'll get through it. I've done it.
That's it.
6:15.
Oh, my phone's going off.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a little less. The other thing I wanted to mention that's not on the agenda is I know everybody received the email from me regarding the annual filing of your financial disclosure statement. Just want to remind everybody about that. It needs to be filed by April 30th. So if you filed before, which most of you, if not all, Councilwoman Harron did it today. Everybody, it's easy enough to file because you filed in years past. So you got that email from me, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or last week. So that's it. Thank you.
There is. I think it's a PIN number you got to find. Yeah. All right. Next on caucus work session, we have the tree removal replacement ordinance. Councilman Odison?
Okay, the Shade Tree Federation of New Jersey and the Department of Protection is interested in all the municipalities entertaining and passing the ordinance for tree protection and replacement. So a lot of the boroughs in our area have already adopted ones. I got the Barrington one. There was actually a session that marked up with the Shade Commission attended and had a session outlined. While they're doing that, we need to fashion general ordinance, and then we have to implement a municipal permit process. If we want to, we have to have an application form for the requirements. If we decide that we want to collect payment from the residents and do the planning, we need to schedule these together. And then we have to decide on how and when we want to enforce the ordinance, formulating an inspection process, and then setting up any violations and penalties for people that fail to adhere to the ordinance. And then there will be handling of any unpermitted work removals. And then they probably have to fashion an appeal process. So there's a lot to this.
Yeah, as part of those stormwater ordinances that we've been working on, we were required by the state to do 2 additional ordinances. One we're moving forward with and one we're not. One we're moving forward with is private salt storage, so that it doesn't run off. I mean, municipal is already regulated, but the private places, so we have that ordinance on for consideration. You may recall that they've also sent around a template for a tree removal and replacement ordinance because of the benefits the trees have to sucking up the groundwater and taking that down. So when I looked at the ordinance that they presented versus the ordinance that we already have, we actually, because of the formation of our Shade Tree Commission, have a pretty strenuous ordinance. So
We have
to say,
tree protection.
right. So it doesn't say we can't change it to this because I just did what you're talking about. Because they have probably one of the more stringent tree replacement ordinances in South Jersey or maybe anywhere in the state. So I'm familiar with what you're talking about, Councilman. I did pull the model one that came from the state because it was really less restrictive than our present one. So I wrote in reading the regulations, the reason behind why the state was mandating to do that, it said that if you had this type of ordinance like we do, and you have a shade tree commission that reviews these things, you don't have to pass state mandated ordinance. So I sent them our certification of the active nature of our shade tree commission, which is recognized by the Division of Forestry or whatever that is. The ordinance that we have presently and the ordinance that they want us to draft. And as I'm saying, I believe we fit the exemption and don't have to do the one that the state has been circulating.
I guess it becomes a question of,
But you can do this.
yeah, it becomes a question of how much you want to encourage people to replace trees, and then if you don't do it, you have to set up a permit process for removal, and you have to have an application form for you to do it. Then you have to have a system of enforcement and collecting fines for having to replace the tree, and then you have to have penalties, setting violations and penalties.
I think at this
So, I
time,
mean, it's a big process that the borough would have to undertake.
at this time, don't we have, the ordinance currently has, I thought, like
We have a
fees
tree
associated.
protection, but we don't enforce it.
Can I just get some clarification? Are we talking about just the street trees?
No.
Or are we talking about any
All
tree
trees.
anywhere on anybody's property?
Yes, it's very, very strenuous.
A lot
And
of
what they
people-
did in Cherry Hill was they don't charge the homeowner. You get like one a year. If it's dead, it doesn't count. Otherwise, you get one a year free.
You fill out an application describing, what you're doing and what you want to do. It creates work for somebody, either in inspections or within the shade tree commission to follow along. So
But if
You
you're,
have to enforce it.
if you're a developer, they would charge you, like usually in lieu of plantings, if it's not feasible, $300 a tree, and they establish a tree replacement fund. There's not a lot of development that you see here. But you're gonna be seeing some redevelopment, which could impact it. Maybe, but it's up to you. I can pull Cherry Hills and circulate it so you can get a handle on what's free, what costs, what the issues are, what the permitting process is, because we did exactly this in Cherry Hill about a year
We've
ago.
had some preliminary discussions on the shade tree, but we haven't really formulated opinions or, all kind of.
I mean, and I don't know if this is encompassed in your correspondence with the DL, but my understanding is that our shade tree commission only pertains to street trees, not to, trees that are on private property.
This ordinance and the ordinance that the other towns are passing is for all trees, and most of the municipalities in the area are passing.
It's centered around like the fact that, again, we have
But you have to have, rules and enforcement in the plan.
to discourage people from just clear cutting the trees, which are a benefit to stormwater runoff.
Yeah, plus, our canopies shrink all the time. People aren't planting as many trees as they used to. Other things that are going on, you watch it over time, it's less and less.
In the stormwater, inspection that we had, they were the ones that said we needed to change this ordinance along with the salt, or the salt.
Yeah. There's two documents, you already have them.
Yeah.
That's what you-
So do you want, I mean, I think the best thing is, can we circulate the additional information that you have, like the presentation to the rest of council?
Yeah.
And then I think obviously we have to do something in regards to the stormwater management, DEP's requirement.
I don't think we do
Okay.
because of,
Because of our.
I would
our status.
respectfully disagree with Councilman Osson to one extent. We have a shade tree commission that enforces the
Straight trees.
the trees along the right of way. Most towns do not have that. You're free to do whatever you want, however you want, take it down. If it's raising your sidewalk, take it down, replace it. You don't ask anybody, tell anybody, you can just do it. The thing that came down from the state, if we have a shade tree commission, exempts us from doing this modest ordinance at the state saying you at least have to do this. When I read that compared to ours, I thought ours had a little bit more teeth to it, frankly. What Tom is talking about is a good idea, but it applies to every tree in your town, whether it's on private property, public
Okay.
property, everything.
And is the state mandating this?
The state is not mandating what Tom has. It's mandating some sort of tree replacement idea. But it does not go as far as what we already have. So I think Haddon Heights is, because of the existence of a shade tree commission, is slightly ahead of the game. So I think we're exempt from doing
They're
one the
pushing
state gave
everybody
us.
by May 1st to have the ordinance.
Not that one. But the one that I think we're exempted from is a May 1st deadline. This is something we would do, it would be wider spread.
I mean, there's an application process. The idea here is if you put this in motion, you have to have somebody to, you have to design an application, and you have to put all the rules in place. Have these
So actually,
enforcement.
I think too, there's some value here right out of the gate. If you require, and I know other towns that do this, because actually I think I had somebody call me about it and ask me, do you have to pull a permit in Heights to cut down a tree in your own yard? This is an issue. There's some very honest tree work guys. Like, Shoot, actually it's really good, where a resident approaches him about a shade tree. He flags it right away and says, do you even have permission for this, right? Where you have others that, these smaller outfits they come onto the property and they say, yeah, no problem. And they'll cut down the shade tree and they don't, unless they get caught,
A lot of times, other tree people will run by and see.
yeah, and they call them and rat them out, right? But I think like if you put a basic, if you put something in, and you don't have to charge an exuberant fee, I think from a permit, we could set it whatever we want. The idea not being but really just to be able to track
Anyway, yeah.
the fact that trees are being cut down in town. And then, from my understanding, what you're saying, Tom, the ordinance would also say, is it something where you could do in lieu of the fee or whatever that?
Yeah, either plant or,
Right, a
a
resident.
certain caliber, I think they recommend a 4-inch kind of thing, presentation,
You
or or you can just pay a fee, you get to decide on what you want to do for that.
And then the fee, yeah, I was gonna say, and then it goes to
And the amount
replace
is,
official shade
the
trees.
the max you can do under the law is $300.
By
Would
time.
help, fund shade.
I think it's a good idea to
I'd
put
be
something.
interested.
A certain percentage can be used for administrative, but most of it has to go to buy replacement trees.
We're losing our tree count. We should do
I can circulate this whole package and a presentation that we did, I did in Cherry Hill about a year ago. And you can take a look, it's the same kind of thing Tom's talking about.
I would say like,
I have this.
We can shift this around and.
Yeah, I can-
if you want to,
Should've
how
done it before.
about we circulate this? Howard circulates what he has, and then everybody can chew on that, and
We'll talk
let's
about it.
revisit it at the May meeting, and then, and we'll come back and kind of come up with see where everybody stands on it, and what we want to do.
We should hope to know what we're gonna do by the meeting, because I believe it's supposed to be done by.
Well, we're talking about two different things here. So Howard's has to be done by the May meeting, because that
Or
Or we're
will
exempt.
be exempted,
will be exempt. So that's a whole separate issue.
which is
we'll-
what we
which
wrote
we'll
about
track.
today
Right,
to
that was the
the
course
state.
of-
I wrote and then you sent it to someone else.
So we'll see that in motion, but then regardless of that,
Regardless of that.
Tom will circulate his presentation that he got, and Howard will circulate his information that he passed with similar ordinances in the area. We'll review that. This is pertaining to all trees, not shade trees, all trees. It has nothing to do necessarily with the stormwater management plan.
You have a sample Barrington one and then, the tree protection.
And we'll review that.
Okay, so I understand, I'm sorry. The one that we were talking about earlier, Howard, is not the one that would ensure that if someone took a tree down on their private property, that all this, that was not.
There is tree protection, ordinance we already have, there are some protections.
There's
There are.
overlap.
That occur off the line where the chief.
Right.
There is overlap with, I think, both, is what this is coming down to. What we're saying is legally, the legal end will be handled by Howard based on what the state says about our exemption,
Yes.
right? And then even if we are exempt, there's an idea that, there's a notion that
I think
we
there's a need to put something.
would adopt
Try to protect our trees.
another ordinance that or build on our current ordinances.
It was really popular in Cherry Hill because everybody was concerned, a little concerned about it. They found out we were not charging the residents on their private property. That you were allowed to do one a year, or a dead one, obviously. You come
Yeah,
out
dead
and
ones that you
You
inspect
probably
it.
fashion the ordinance, anything that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's some situations.
So we didn't
where-
charge the residents, and that's what made it big. But you have development going there where if you saw on Crescent Road there, you know exactly what
It
I
just-
mean, right?
Yeah, they just.
I mean,
built
they
down
just took a
whole
beautiful,
forest,
right, just level everything.
whole forest.
I dealt with that.
I mean, and this
Going
applies,
down.
in Cherry Hill, I know it applies to everything, because like the headquarters, the firehouse had to, we were only limited, they were like, well, that doesn't count, it's dead. So you can-
I added that in just to annoy you.
Yeah, thank
A
you.
little bit.
I appreciate
No
that.
problem.
Doesn't
Make
annoy
your
me.
job a little harder.
All right, so Tom's going to circulate that information. Howard will keep us updated to whether we're exempt from the legal end and the deadline of May 1st. And either way, we will still plan to explore all of this and discuss it further in May. That'll give us time to look into that. All right. Wonderful. Moving on, we got Fountain at the Railroad. Councilman Addison.
I got a call, from, Joe Gentili and then, Chris Hankey, and Bob Hunter. The fountain, has been a problem maintaining for the last couple of years. Apparently the history of it is, I think it's the Dobbs family owned a men's clothing business, and when he, passed away, the business ended back in the mid-80s. I remember the business actually. They, paid for a fountain to be installed. And then since that date, it's been, I think, maintained by different entities. Most recently, the last 3 years plus, they've been trying to keep it running. And then the DPW is also assisted by installing new pump and some openings and closings. Most recently, the cover blew off, so it filled with rainwater. But there've been times in the last couple of years where the pump has failed, it's been vandalized. It used to be 3-tier, now it's 2, it has some cracks in it. It's constructed on a 4-inch brick with a pump underneath, and then 2 tiers where the water comes up, flows into the tub. It's about 6 feet in diameter. And when the tub fills and it doesn't run, then you get insects. Now, one of the problems is there's a tree right overhead, so it drops organic debris, all those small colonies to be cleaned, filtered, and maintained. Nobody seems to want to take responsibility for it. So some ideas were thrown out there. Right now, the pump burned out last year when they installed a new one, shot the water too high, and then the main took it off, and drained pump, the tub, and then the pump burned out. So the pump's not operating, so we can put a lower volume pump in, cost price of the pump, and it does. We can make it run, and then the constant maintenance during the summer months has to be accommodated by an entity. So DPW, they said they don't have time to do it. If they kind of like, they don't want to do it anymore. So I guess we have to decide, we talked about potentially, they have self-contained fountains where it doesn't have water surrounding it. What you do is you fill it up, it just runs and then runs back into the self-contained tub. And if you did that, you could fill the current tub with organic material, plant flowers, and plantings in there too. It all depends on what you want the look to be. I mean, a lot of people like the water bed. Some people wouldn't mind having planters in there. We just said, but it's in the water bed, we have to have somebody that commits to maintaining all summer. Right now, we don't have to do that. Now, what I did is, we had all those folks there, and then I just recently reached out to the Heights Rose to see if they had any interest in presenting some ideas, and I thought maybe they would help us take over to create a planner and or a new path in the area and help us communicate. We can do a path on that project. So, and then Kyle was going to look at other pumps. He's the DPW supervisor and see what else is available. So we're going to come back with a few ideas and make a presentation on it in the next 3 days. But it should be able to get the pump up and running from now, and we'll decide what's going to do with moving forward. There's been really no one that
Also, we did receive the pump, we ordered it, we got it to DPW today, so hopefully we'll be able to install it and get it running.
Yeah, I think we're going to opportunity, but we can keep it running. I mean, take responsibility for keeping it clean. And scoop it out if we need more. So.
Council? Tom, I thank you for doing all this research and meeting with all the parties. I know that it's been a good continued concern that it's a lot of work. Not necessarily in a fountain that's not necessarily in the ideal location, given that it's kind of in that tree-covered region.
There's no way to cover with a net, or there's no really good answer to keep it, I think the planner idea is good, but I know a lot of people might not like it.
What the self-contained fountain that you're talking about? What would that's?
I think what happens is the water flows and then it flows back into a bowl, like a smaller volume where it's not like, right now, when you look at it, it's a pool, you get up there. So it's 6 foot diameter. In the center is a 2-tier fountain. It's laid up on stacked two 4-inch bricks. So the pump's underneath, and what happened before, it blew the water turbine, it blew out and drained it. But now they're putting a small pump, it should trickle down. But at the same time, everything, all the organic debris gets sucked into it. So
Right.
clogged and then it burned out. You got to keep it clean.
Right, somebody's got to be in there.
We don't have anybody to do that. So if we put a self-contained pump in the center, surrounded by potentially planters, then it would be less neat, probably every couple weeks, go to the plant or something like that. So we're exploring those ideas. So I threw it out to Heights Rose to see if they would have any ideas or assist. Something we could have. I don't think it'd be a big expense. Yeah. They actually have $8,000 in their budget right now. They just want to decide to spend it.
Yeah, let us know what they said when we act.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious what their capabilities.
So I think we're waiting to hear. We'll hear back from Heights Grows,
Yeah.
and we're going to open the fountain up this year. we'll see if we can maybe navigate this problem in the next few months as the fountains open, as for care and maintenance. And then we'll explore our options to, if we need to turn this into a flower bed, some type of contained. Does that work?
Yeah, I think if you eliminate the water, it makes a lot of problem.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different look.
Yeah.
Different look.
Moving out of the caucus work session, we move into the approval of the minutes of the March 19th, 2024 business meeting. May I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of the March 19th, 2024 business meeting? Motion by Councilman Fagan. Have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Harron. All those in favor? Any opposed or abstained? Thank you. Next, we have council member reports. Councilwoman Harron?
We had our civic events committee meeting on the first, discussing Memorial Day and July parades and celebrations around those. Confirms quite a few more bands and participants, so we appreciate you all pretty nicely. I know that there was mention of, actually, a resident sent me an email asking about the Kansas meeting prior to Memorial Day. They like how you connected with the county about that. They haven't really given feedback, but I will follow up with them again.
Would you reach out?
Talking about that.
Sounds like you're
Okay.
a Eagle Scout.
Maggie She did, yes. So,
So I did that, so I reached out to Anthony and was told, but I didn't get anything definitive as to when it might be done.
Okay.
Back when Maggie was there, we talked about, there seemed to be some planning works for significant refurbishing.
Okay.
Not just me, but
Okay.
some grass pieces.
Oh, yeah.
But where that is now, I don't know, I'll follow up on anything else we'll look at.
Aside from that, we have a meeting with some of the leagues, we continue conversations about Memorial Day. And also, we have Mike Sabers, talked to that, one was yesterday about sort of planning for the anniversary event. They're going to be asking that council all attend, and also share their invitation materials on all of the channels. So, share those around.
Wonderful. Sounds good.
Your website has a really nice link to that information. Apparently, it stares you right in the face when you go on. It looks you right in the face when you go onto the main page.
Councilman Addison?
Okay. On the police side, at 6,482 miles driven on patrol, 1,119 calls for service. 13 arrests and charges, 27 accidents, 158 motor vehicle licenses were issued. On the fire department side, there were calls in Hattites, 15, calls in American, 22, calls in Mutual Aid 5, calls in Highway 2, average firefighters were called 5, 37 calls, 21. Construction review, all new issues there. We just did, getting ready for the tree planting, we did door hangers. So we're announcing that the trees are coming, so anybody who wants, they can call and cancel, the ones that hadn't replied. There's also instructions on what to do with the tree that arrives. So I have resident Bob myself knock on doors, let them know. And then they can trees over. So that should help at relating. We have 300 trees coming, 2 buildings for the farm market on 28 and 10-1 between Gateway and
Wonderful. Thank you. Council President Morgan?
No report this week.
Councilman Fagan?
No report as well, sir.
And Mayor's report. And I have nothing to report as well.
Mayor, if I may, I just wanted to announce that maybe the chief would like to elaborate, but we are approaching the 29th anniversary of officers. You may notice that the banner
April 20th.
is hung up today, right?
Yes,
Chief?
yeah,
It's
hung
hung up today.
Should be this Saturday.
Saturday.
I don't know what might be planned or not, but we've had some mulching all done on the side of the building as well. But just.
Is retired Chief Ginkler still, or is that or is it Scardino that is it that Nick Scardino that handles all the mulching and the flowers for us out here?
Actually, DPW.
DPW did it this year. Okay, perfect. I know in the past we've had retired Chief Scardino's brother took care of it for us before. I know
We
Chief.
always try to have that looking nice around at least a week or two before this.
Mhm.
This comes up every year. I know the prosecutor's office on Thursday is actually going to be dedicating a roadway
That's correct. yeah.
to Officer McLaughlin. So we're all going to be heading over there to show our support from Heights. Other than that, our officers and all the local retired officers usually go to John's grave site at 6 in the morning on the day when it happens. We always show shirts of that. Yeah. So, just a little something that we do as the officers who are in charge at 6 a.m. due to the shift changes where we try to get all the shifts that can make it to get there. So, but we're not having anything as far as the bike tour usually comes through in May. So we'll definitely let you know when that comes up. But this year, it's the 29th. Next year, we'll probably be doing something big like we were going to do down at the Dell
Right.
a couple of years ago.
COVID had other plans for us that year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kel, for reminding us. Unfinished business. We have the public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2024-1544, ordinance rescinding ordinance 2024-1541, and amending chapter 125-2 of the Code of Borough of Haddon Heights entitled Animal License Fee Exemptions. What's this? Reintroduction of ordinance 2024-1545 and ordinance. Okay, that's different. I'm sorry. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Public hearing.
Yep, so may I have a motion to open the public hearing portion? Motion by Councilman Morgan, Council President Morgan, may I have a second? Second by Councilman Pagan. All those in favor? Any opposed or abstain? Thank you. The public hearing portion is now open. If you'd like to make a comment, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Not seeing any public comment. May I have a motion to close the public comment portion, public hearing portion of the ordinance 2024-1544? Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second? Seconded by Council President Morgan. All those in favor? Any opposed or abstain? Thank you. Now may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-1544, an ordinance rescinding ordinance 2024-1541, and amending chapter 125-2 of the Code of Borough of Haddon Heights entitled Animal License Fees Exemptions. May I have a motion, please? Motion by Councilwoman Harron. Seconded by Councilman Otteson. Have a roll call vote.
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Otteson?
Yes.
Councilman Pagan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have reintroduction of ordinance 2024-1545, an ordinance amending Chapter 100 of the Code of Borough of Haddon Heights entitled Vehicles and Traffic, one-way conversion of Garden Street from First Avenue to Crest Avenue. Public hearing and final adoption of ordinance 2024-1545 is scheduled for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, approximately 7 p.m. in the municipal building located at 625 Station Ave, Haddon Heights, New Jersey, 08035. May I have a motion to reintroduce ordinance 2024-1545, an ordinance amending Chapter 100 of the Code of Borough of Haddon Heights entitled Vehicles and Traffic. Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Harron. May I have a roll call vote, please?
President Morgan?
Yes.
Councilman Otteson?
Yes.
Councilman Pagan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron? Thank you.
Thank you. And again, public hearing and final adoption is scheduled for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 at approximately 7 p.m. New business. We have an introduction of ordinance 2024-1546, ordinance amending the Code of Borough of Haddon Heights, County of Camden, State of New Jersey to include Chapter 353 entitled Privately Owned Salt Storage. And public hearing and final adoption of this ordinance 2024-1546 is scheduled also for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, at approximately 7 PM in the municipal building located at 625 Station Ave in Haddon Heights. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 2024-1546? Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Odison. May I have a roll call vote?
Yes, Mayor, Council President Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Odison,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan, Councilwoman Howard. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have resolutions 2024-93, a resolution approving change order number 1 final for the fiscal year 2021 NJ DOT Trust Fund reconstruction of Devon Ave Phase 3. Resolution 2024-94, resolution approving bingo licenses for Sons of Italy Lodge 2311 for the purpose of conducting designer handbag bingo Friday, May 10th, 2024. Resolution 2024-95, a resolution supporting the submission of an application to the Camden County Open Space Farmland Recreation and Historic Preservation Trust Fund for the purchase of a mobile sensory station. And then Resolution 2024-96, a resolution authorizing payment of bills of claims for the first half of April. And I believe we are tabling 97, so I'll post 97, right? Okay. Yep. And then it's Resolution 2024-98, a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. 1, matters relating to attorney-client privilege. 2, contract negotiations related to police contract. Discussions are expected to be about a half-hour in duration. Formal action may be taken on the foregoing items following executive session. Specifically, to articulate that, Resolution 2024-97, the resolution authorizing payment bills and claims for the second half of April will be handled post our closed session. May I have a motion for those resolutions, please? Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second? Second by Councilman Odison. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Council President Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Odison,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan, Councilwoman Howard. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now open it up for public comment. That's public comment on anything at all. Just step up to the microphone. You can state your name and address for the record. Yep. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm Judy Bucher. I'm from Stanfield Towers, and we have a president of the Residents Association who is planning for a wreath to be presented on Memorial Day. Our wreath has been ordered and paid for, and the only problem is we have no person to present it. Now, he is trying to find people to present it. I'm one of the people who's willing to do it, but we are still in the process. It's going to take us a week or two to get. I would like to know if you have any input, if you have anything to say about presenting the wreath. Does it have to be a veteran or a friend of a veteran or relative of the veteran to present the wreath? It can be anybody that
Anybody?
volunteers.
Yep, any resident. Yep. It's a gesture on behalf of your organization to, pay homage to.
Okay, because I have presented it with Al Branson, who was our representative veteran last year. And as you know, he died the day after Memorial Day. And so this year we have to kind of start over. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for telling me.
Yep, of course. No, thank you.
Ma'am, can I get your last name, please? Pardon? Can you tell me your last name?
Bucher, B-U-E-C-K-E-R.
Thank you.
Judy is my first name.
Got that. Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? Not seeing any. I'll close the public comment portion and we're going to recess into our executive session. Colorado? Yeah. I go to California next week, so I get like a little break. But I'm flying home on a red eye, which is like, I did that back in January. I have a motion to come out of closed session? Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second? Second by Council President Morgan. All those in favor? Any opposed or abstain? Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-97, resolution authorizing payment and bill and claims for the second half of April? May I have a motion, please? Motion by Councilman Pagan. May I have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Harron. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor. Council President Morgan,
Yes, with the exception of check 28749 and all that.
thank you. Councilman Otteson,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harron. Thank you.
Thank you. Not seeing any other business. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion by Councilman Pagan and a second by Councilman Otteson. All those in favor? Any opposed or abstained? Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good to see you all.
The